What's up, guys? In today's video, we are going to be breaking down a house fire that turned into a propane explosion. Also, this video does a really good job of showing some things that a lot of people that aren't that familiar with the fire service or are new to the fire service don't really get to see in the size up in the beginning stages of the fire attack. So I'm going to be breaking down exactly what's going on, exactly what they're talking about, and some things for you to look for. This video comes from Pat Duvall of the Plainfield Township Fire Department. This is excellent dash cam footage from the command vehicle. Definitely check out that channel. Give him a subscribe. Give him a like. I will leave the link to the original video below if that's something you want to check out. Let's get started.
Repeating for Cannon Engine 8, Algoma Engine 21, Walker Engine 5, Algoma Rescue 71, Ada Car 1, Alpine Car 1, Auto 8 to Plainfield Fire on a second alarm for structure fire at 4948 Pleasant Creek Avenue Northeast, 4948 Pleasant Creek Avenue Northeast. Originally a garage fire spreading to the home. Again, this is a second alarm at 4:54.
So I wanted to let the dispatcher finish the tone out, but when you see this command vehicle pull up first, so what a lot of people might not understand is when a fire tone comes in, a lot of times whoever the shift officer or the battalion chief, whoever's in charge, will usually be the first person to that particular fire. And they get there first. Obviously, it's easier for somebody to just jump in a car and go than it is for multiple people to get packed up and geared up and on an engine or a ladder and go. And those trucks are obviously slower than vehicles many times. So they'll show up first. This officer shows up first and sees this. Looks like a pretty heavily involved garage fire. Some other things you want to look for is you see there's two vehicles out in front. You gotta always be aware of exposures. That would be considered an exposure where the fire will jump to those cars just from the radiant heat. So the officer's job when they get there is to pull up, do what's called a 360. They're going to get out and they're going to walk all the way around the structure to look for any sort of victims, any sort of other hazards you can't immediately see from the front of the house. Right now, we are looking at the alpha side of the house. Remember, I talked about this in another video. Alpha is the front of the structure that is on fire. If you're facing the structure, the Bravo side will be the left side. The Charlie side, the C side, will be the back side. And the Delta side will be the right side. Again, that's if you're standing in the street facing the structure, that's how it goes. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta. So right now, we're looking at the Alpha, Delta corner-ish. And this is what we see. So I will keep playing this. You also heard the dispatcher just tone out a whole bunch of different trucks and different units, and all of these different units are now going to begin coming towards this fire.
Plainfield Car 3 is on the scene. It's a single-story residential wood frame structure attached garage. We have heavy fire, and here's some fireworks going off in the garage. Fire involvement is spreading to the main level. We have white laminar smoke already spreading into the eaves of the main residence. The house is located at the end of the cul-de-sac. We have a hydrant in front of the house.
I don't know how well you could hear. His voice was a little bit quiet, so if you couldn't hear, this officer just gave a scene size up. What he does is he gets on the radio and he tells dispatch, and all of the other incoming units can hear exactly what he's saying. Single-story wood frame structure, heavy involvement in the garage, looks like it's spreading to other areas of the house. It's at the end of a cul-de-sac. He did add in a little bonus there. He said that there is a hydrant in front of the house. I don't know if you could see that little at the very bottom of the screen towards the right side. You can see that hydrant. That's what it looks like it is poking up there. When you're the engine operator or the apparatus operator, whatever you want to call them, that's the first thing you look for anytime you pull up on scene of a fire or a potential fire. You're always going to want to know where your closest water supply is. So the fact that this officer gave the first due engine an idea of exactly where the closest hydrant is going to be is awesome. So great size up from that officer.
Dispatch copy. Plainfield Car 3 is on scene. single-story residential, attached garage, heavy fire involved, fireworks going off inside the garage, spreading to main level, smoke spreading to the east of the home, hydrant in front of the house at 4:55.
Second thing I want to point out, good for that dispatcher for repeating all of that back. I've talked about this in other videos. Great dispatchers are such an asset to every public safety person. So this dispatcher seems like they're doing a phenomenal job. So I always want to give a shout out to the dispatchers whenever possible because they are very, very underrated. The other thing too is, I don't know if you could hear it, somebody came up to the window of this command vehicle and said, how far away or how long until the firefighters get here? This is a very common thing. This actually happened recently in a fire that I was on probably about a month ago at this point. The house was on fire. It was very early in the morning. I think this fire happened around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. People are scared. People are panicked. A couple minutes seems like an eternity. People will come up to the command vehicle and say, hey, when are they coming? Have them hurry up. Do something. Do something. This is what this person that pulls up in that command vehicle is doing. He's coordinating all the incoming units. He's letting everybody know what's happening. So as soon as people show up on scene, everybody already knows what they're supposed to be doing right away. And you'll hear later on in the video, and I'll point that out. But this officer is doing an excellent job of being calm, composed, and making sure all the different units are coming in and doing what they need to do and knowing what they need to know.
Is everybody out of the house for sure? You can account for everybody without question. Okay.
Like the car 6 room.
Springfield car 6 en route at 4:55.
Before we go any further, I do want to stop it here. This is what I'm talking about the 360. This officer is doing an awesome job. He's going to get out. He's going to walk all the way around the structure. Now, with any fire, whether it be a car fire, a house fire, anything, you always have to have in the back of your mind, you have no idea what is in this structure. You have no idea what is on fire. You don't know what you're walking into and you're walking up on. There is no way for this officer, obviously, to know what's about to happen. But I wanted to show this video so that you can be aware of some of the dangers and things to think about, especially when something like a garage is on fire. Think about what you keep in a garage. You keep vehicles, you keep different lubricants or fuels or a lot of potentially dangerous stuff, propane tanks, gas cans. There's all sorts of stuff in garages that are particularly dangerous and hazardous. And you will see here shortly what I'm talking about.
Walker car 3 en route to station 3. Car 4 to station 3.
Walker car 4 3 at 4:55.
So you saw how big of an explosion that was. I'm not sure exactly what that was that kind of flew out. If you look in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, you can see something's on fire. I don't know if that was a basketball pole or part of. I don't know what that was. Fortunately for him, he was not hurt. But I mean, that will really, really wake you up, especially at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning when something like that happens and you're walking up to a house. Thank God he wasn't hurt. We'll keep going. And you'll hear how calm and collected this officer is, giving a continued size up of what just happened and what other resources he needs.
Dispatch, Pleasant View Command.
Pleasant View Command, go ahead.
We just had a major explosion in the garage. I'm checking for injuries right now. Send ALS.
Dispatch copy. Major explosion in the garage. Sending in ALS at 4:56.
Cannon car 1 en route.
In Alpine car 1 en route, 457.
So the other thing I wanted to point out is, yes, there was a big explosion, but this video has only been going on for a couple minutes. If you rewind this video and look at how, I mean, the garage was rolling by the time he pulled up, but look how much more of the house is on fire in just a couple minutes. This shows how quickly these scenes can deteriorate and how rapidly this fire can spread. Here in another minute, you'll see the trucks pull up and everybody get out and begin to work. But this just shows you how volatile these situations are and how quickly they can devolve.
Dispatch Pleasant View Command. Because we have nobody injured from the explosion. Advise incoming unit. We're going to be communicating on PLF fire ground. Engine 1, I want you to perform a death gun attack as soon as you arrive on scene.
So you heard him just say, Engine 1, I want you to perform a deck gun attack when you arrive on scene. My guess is Engine 1 is probably going to be the first steel engine on this fire. Deck gun attack, if you're not familiar with what that is, on the top of almost every fire engine I've ever seen, there is a deck gun. It's the big nozzle that sits on top. You can park that truck in the street and you can just aim that nozzle at whatever you want and just hit it. At this point, this looks like this house is going pretty good. You're certainly it's not going to make any sense to put anybody in that garage. I don't know if you heard earlier, they already said that all the occupants were out and that person knew for sure that everybody was out and safe. But this is another example here again of the scene officer telling people before they even arrive exactly what they need to do. So as soon as they hit the ground, they're ready to go. They're getting water on the fire.
Dispatch copies. No injuries from the explosion. Incoming use Plainfield fire ground. Engine 1 used deck ground attack at 457.
Copy.
You can still hear stuff going off in the background. Sounds like fireworks. This was actually on the 4th of July. So that's it for the purposes of this video. If you can see in this last shot, there is that deck gun is putting a lot of water on the fire from the street. You can't really see the engine in the shot here. But they're getting water on the fire. There's 2 other firefighters in the front yard, it looks like right now, and they're pulling another hand line to probably hit the fire from the other side. Good for them. This was an awesome job by this officer, staying calm and composed in a very scary situation, making sure all the income units knew exactly what was going on. The dispatcher was fantastic. This was a really good job all around. Again, this just goes to show the amount of dangers that you aren't aware of when you show up on any scene. So please, please, please be safe out there. Do your best to be aware of any sort of potential dangers that you're walking into and know that this is something that is certainly possible. As always, if you found this useful and helpful, give this video a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.